And I
All
sold
right.
the program to a man 2 days ago.
I love that.
I'm like, I don't know, but this hair.
Oh, it's a money hair. You really do.
Christina, having Christina Gomes on my purse all the time, seeing her face everywhere. It's like, do your shit. Record yourself. Like,
make a video. Do another one. You look too good to hide this face. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Client Spotlight series where I share success stories and lovely notes from my clients, my past clients. And this lovely client that I have with me today is an old friend of mine. And I really love when I get to work with my friends and see all their success from beginning all the way to expansion and beyond. And so this is Yulia Rose, and she's the creator of the Awakened Goddess Within program. And she's a sexual empowerment coach. She's a facilitator. She's doing all sorts of beautiful things. And I'd like to welcome you to this session today. Yay!
yay. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, before we pressed live, we were talking about your hair. I know that it's not what we focus on in either one of our work, but isn't hair great? Doesn't it just give you some confidence? And
yes,
yeah,
definitely. And I'm on fire with this red hair.
Ooh, that's what it is. Exactly. I feel like a pasta bowl with mine. I'm on curly over here, but it really is.
I love your curl.
Yeah, thank you. And what I kind of wanted to talk about this is like this idea of feeling in our businesses. And I just noticed from you, from sharing your content, and you just won a Pathway to 10K call with me, and we went deep on your strategy. And I'm going to have you share your successes in a moment, but I just feel an up level shift in you. And I just wanted to reflect that and say that that's what it's all about here, y'all. Like when we're in this kind of place of like, oh, my business, it can feel so like we don't even want to do it. But when we come from this place where it's like pleasurable, and that's what you teach on, it really makes a difference. And I'm sure it makes a difference for your clients. So I'd love to hear from you. How did you get started? What made you want to have the kind of business that you have today?
Yeah, so I've had my business for a couple of years, but it's been more in person. So when everything happened, everybody's switching online, I'm like, oh my God, I had like a breakdown of like, what am I gonna do now? And then I saw that you started giving a course on how to put your online course online. So I'm like, okay, let me start with that. And it was like, I wanted to, and then I couldn't even open the pamphlet. And some months passed by, and like, I knew that this is like what I want, but I was struggling with like everything from 2020 and depression and anxiety. And it was, I really was like, okay, how can I transform my business and bring it online? And all of this resistance of like being seen, getting in front of the camera, being judged, right? Like, oh my God, if people are going to judge me. So all of this thing, it's not just putting your online course or your program online. It's actually everything that comes with that of like, am I ready to be seen in my power? So after, I think it's been like a year and a half or two, like I saw how you kept offering, and I saw you level up, and I'm like, oh my God, so she's doing it, I can do it. And I started like believing even more. And I love that you're my friend, and we've traveled together. And it's like I believe in you, and I believe on what you said. And even if I wasn't doing it, I still would follow your posts. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna go. I printed out your booklet. My sister also joined your program, so I told her, print it out and let's work together. Let's like motivate each other. And having it with me, like going through the pages, going through your Facebook group, like you just give so much support. And I started like getting like that little fire started like slowly growing. And what I noticed that my block is just like, okay, I can't do the technical. And then I just shut down, and I just get blocked. And and like hard. So every time like I would go to your lives, it's like, oh my God, this doesn't have to be so hard. And it was like, every live that I went, it was like a fresh air. And I would watch your lives, recorded, the ones that I couldn't make it. And I love when you said, you just have to show up. Like if people see you, people know what you're offering. And I remember that you gave me a feedback back then that says like, I don't see what you're offering. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see it either. So it was like, I don't know what I'm offering. And it was just like all here, like no structure. So the program, your master classes have slowly shaped me, and also me releasing like the heaviness of like, oh, I don't want to be seen. Am I good enough? And, all of these limiting beliefs, like, yes, I am good enough. And yes, like I receive abundance for how I show up and change people's lives. So I actually started selling smaller groups and smaller programs. And when I had that first win, I remember I messaged you, are you excited? And you were like, yes. And then it just kept growing. So the more I saw your lives, and they were getting more and more educated and more refined. And I'm like, whoa, this is a whole world expanded. And when we had the one-on-one, I do feel like that's where everything shifted, because it's like you were just like, okay, you're offering all of this, let's go bring it narrow. And then I understood what I'm selling. Like I understood my program even more, and me understanding my program more, and then knowing the right words to express it, like that. I think it was an hour. It was like everything that I needed. I was so happy I won that phone call. Because it's like, okay, when I'm posting, this is the structure, this is what I'm going for. And it's also like for me believing that I am an expert, right? I feel like sometimes our smaller self, it's like, no, you're still not ready. But then like I'm getting the clients, and the clients are transforming. And that's like, okay, like let this ego bullshit like go out, and like actually no, this is incredible. So on good news, since that call, I've actually enrolled 3 people and 2 women for my 3-month program, and a man for a 5-week program. And I'm just like, I cannot believe it. And it's like, yes, like once you're in alignment, like you were saying in your lives, it's like people feel that if I show up, it doesn't matter how many pretty pictures I post or nice text, if nobody understands or you can feel my energy or even see me, I'm not being seen. So I definitely got that after our call. And like you gave me that structure and that confidence to like show up this way, and it's working.
I want to celebrate you. And I know that everyone watching is celebrating you too, because we've all been in that place where even now I share this often. It's like, I still have a small voice that says some wacky things to me. And the difference is now I know that there's an empowered person that is me. And then there's this small voice. And sometimes it's the inner little child. And sometimes it's a voice of someone that I don't ever want to talk to again. And you get to decide what these thought forms that are coming into our lives, what are the ones that we want to pay attention to. And with that, I wanted to say, like, great job of paying attention actually to the small voice, because I know the work around empowering women sometimes can often be like, can we listen to that inner child within? And I learned so much from your content. I've always thought that you were a great writer, as well as somebody who is, you don't really have a problem in my eyes of being seen, but maybe there was a block of selling, actually being seen as a business person, because you are dancing all over the internet. Your content is great. We're going to share Yulia's links, because check her out on the TikToks and all the fun things, because you really have a powerful presence. And then it's just that matter of taking that powerful presence and then every once in a while actually talking about the thing that you offer, so people know that beyond this presence that you have, that this is how they can be a part of your world and work to gain a presence like that, to awaken that goddess within. Because it is something that you've always held with you. And I do believe it's because of that work you do, where you allow the shadows, And is that part of your work when you take people, when you talk a little bit about your offer, how does it help people?
Yeah, so before that, I just want to say that I made my $5,000 month mark. And I know that when you talked about it, and I was like, that's really far away. And it's like, no, it's available and it happens. And honestly, it's because of you, Christina. And I just like love you. And like, wow, like honestly, you guys, like she has so much content, and like her emails and her Facebook group and her Instagram. Like I learned also so much, like incredible. Okay, so awaken the goddess within. It's all about releasing the blockages that we've gained through relationships, through growing up, from society, any sexual shame, some trauma, and releasing that, clearing that through Tao Tantric practices, through breath work, meditation, and embodiment practices. It's a journey. It's like a 6-phase journey where slowly we're like releasing, clearing the blockages, so we can start loving ourselves and learning how to self-pleasure, and then actually learning how this juicy new energy feels and how to run it through our bodies. So it's like awakening the goddess within. It's awakening the goddess is already inside. So it's a program that activates what's already inside of you. I'm just here to support you, to, awaken you, to cheer you up. But all that magic is inside already. So it's a program, it's a wellness program. So it covers all, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the juiciness, and you become multi-orgasmic. I don't know, like by phase 6, you're like, oh my God, my clients are like, I definitely on the other side. Cause at the beginning it's like rough, right? You're like, oh, what is all this nasty? And they're like crying. I'm like, oh my God, it's so hard. I'm like, keep going. Once you go to the mountain, you're going to feel a difference. And they're like, okay, I passed the mountain. Oh my God, I feel juicy. Oh my God, yes. And that's like the reward, but it's like, you have that reward for the rest of your life, right? Once you own that pleasure, you gain that sexual empowerment, you have healthy boundaries, you have a new connection to your yoni, your pussy, right? You learn how to work with the yoni egg to clear all these lovers that entered you without permission, clearing that gunk out and like bringing that juicy self-love back into your body. So it's like an embodiment. And I love it. It fuels me. And seeing my clients transform in this period of time, it's like, this is why I'm in this world.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. This is why I'm in this world. And it's so beautiful that we got to work together, and we get to work together because seeing you clearly express what the value of the work that you do in this world, because that's what the disconnect often is. It's like you knew that if people would just come to you and hang out with you and do this work, that they would feel juicy and pleasurable. Like we know that, but then expressing that to people, there tends to become a block. But I just felt so held in your words right now. Like so many people are going to be benefited from the work that you do. And it's all about that. Like you're lit up by it. They're transformed. And then the beautiful thing is now it's just this snowball effect. I don't like the snow, but this beautiful wave of pleasure, of turning more people on and awakening the goddess within more people. What's beautiful about your soul's purpose is that it's bigger than us. And then you and I get to work as a team to release those blocks so that more and more people can be helped. When you go out and help your people, like I feel that. It feels great. We're all awakening the goddess within. I like that. So is the man course awakening also is awakening?
So the man is men's sexual mastery. So that program is, I teach men on how to master their sexual energy and how to become multi-orgasmic, how to please their partners and gain confidence. A lot of men come to me actually because they lack in confidence and self-worth, and they want to learn how to please their partners, and they want to become multi-orgasmic as well, right? Like retaining their life force. So I also bring them into this journey of like awakening their inner god, their inner warrior. And so they're not subjected to just depending on somebody else to give them pleasure, right? And releasing this porn addiction. Like, how about let's come back to the body and learn how to feel pleasure without outside stimulation, without having to think about anything, and actually expanding into pleasure. So usually men have one way of receiving pleasure. It's very visual, and it's one way of stroking their penis. So I show them different ways, that are based in the Tao tantric arts of how to gain vitality and last longer, and keep that life force so they can thrive, not just in relationships, but in business as well. Because when we're just spending all our sexual energy, our kidneys get depleted, and then we're just like zombies. So we want to know how to nourish our kidneys, how to retain our own sexual energy so we can show up, we can create abundance and support others. So
wow.
Yeah.
I love that there's a slight difference between the man's program and the woman's program, but you really are able to articulate the value of both. And I love that now we're just going to have awakened men and awakened women everywhere. And they're just going to come flocking to you with this beautiful message and this beautiful confidence and hair. But yeah, I feel the big shift because it's so rewarding to not only have a soul's purpose, but when we are valued for our purpose, when we are valued for our time and wisdom and presence, then we see that showing up and we're able to give free content away with so much gratitude and with so much grace and keep that energy flowing, because we always know that there's going to be a few special people that want to really go deeper with you, that hearing, okay, I got to take care of my kidneys is one thing, but then doing that work and being supported and guided from a professional and somebody who is really passionate about it, specializes in this, it's a whole other different world. So starting a business is really fun. It's the same, like you said, like the process is like, okay, it can feel like climbing a hill, and then you're on the other side and all of a sudden your hair's red, you're making 5K months, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is, why did I make it so hard? Yeah, I should have just joined the program sooner. And like you were saying too, life happens. Just because we invest in ourselves or we join a program, it's still up to each of us to do the inner work, to show up, to actually implement the skills. So all of your clients are having your support, that you're there saying like, keep going, you've got this is normal. Any type of shadow work and deep work is not like running through a field of butterflies at first, but the reward is like so worth it. It really is. So
it's so worth it. Like listening, I just came off my male client, he joined because he wanted to gain confidence and stop watching porn. And now he sent me a message of saying like, I have more boundaries with my family, that he just spent over Thanksgiving. He's like, haven't watched porn in 2 months, and he's actually feeling a lot more pleasure and have more control over his ejaculation, because he was suffering from premature ejaculation. And I'm like, wow, he's in like his 20s. So it's like incredible that men right now are taking those steps to improve and invest in themselves. And that's what it's like, wow, thank you for investing in yourself as well. And then for the woman, this last one that completed the Awaken the Goddess, she's like, I love this program because it's giving me the tools that life keeps going on, but I have the tools to bring me back to alignment, to bring me back to balance. And what she really liked, it was me holding her accountable, because I do, I like text them like, hey, like what's going on? And she loved that. She's a yoga teacher, and you know, her smile after the 7 weeks that we did together, and she actually enrolled for 6 more months. It's like incredible. So, and she's also, it was also a friend, and yeah, it's so nice. And also it's like, wow, this work is incredible. So this work, I've done it myself. So I'm like the embodiment that this works. So that's why I feel like that confidence comes through. And I think that what I had to work through was like awakening my own goddess in a way of like business wise, like, yes, this is my offering, and being seen in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right now. I'm like, wow, because I actually haven't heard the details of the offer in such detail from you until right now. And I really feel it. I'm like, wow, I can't wait for the folks in my Wild, Woke, and Wealthy group and in my audience to feel the power of your words. And this is what I'm all about, is like, how do we really truly express the value of the work that we do? Because of course, like, you're feeling it. I'm feeling it from you, because I'm feeling it from your words, but also from your energy, and also from seeing the power that you hold. And I think that's what attracts people to me, is they're like, well, you're such a confident leader. And I want to humanize, just like you've done for your clients, of like, hey, there's going to be some times where you want to quit, and that's why I'm here, and here I am in your inbox again. I'm like, and if we're just thinking about, oh, we're going to bother people, or like, you know, who minds what I have to say, it's like everyone minds. And you know what, if they don't mind, there's a big old fat unfollow button.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's really beautiful about sharing such a potent message that you have as well, and in going against the grain, and actually working in an industry that some people don't understand, and that some people, that everyone seems to have a say in somehow, even though they don't truly understand it. And I think it's really powerful when you speak on things like money, like I do, or sexuality, like you do. So maybe you can give my audience a little feature on what it's like to really speak on something that you're actually, you can get shadow banned for, and having to open up new Instagram accounts. What's that been like for you to speak on a truth that so many people have an opinion on?
So I have been shadow banned, and I've actually had my Instagram closed and blocked on Facebook. And it is very intense, because it's like you believe in something so much, but then like there's all of this like coming at you. So at times it is like, how can I bring my message that doesn't get, you know, flagged, or some people flag it? And what I've done, it's like focusing on activating the awaken the goddess. So before I was more sexy, more sexual, and I guess like those were examples of like, okay, we're gonna close your account. So now I'm wearing clothes.
Bummer. It's a nice outfit.
But it's like, you know, my gene keys is number 18, and it's like my purpose in my life. I have this higher purpose, and this is it. So if this gets me killed, like, so be it. You know, like I feel so strongly that this is my calling. Like when I grew up, you know, I went to business school and I graduated, and I still didn't feel like this was my calling. I knew it was sex, but I grew up so religious that, you know, being a sex coach wasn't even talked about. So my journey, it's like going from numbness to going to pleasure, and like connecting spirituality with sexuality. It's the life purpose. And when I started healing myself in this path, and I discovered that, oh my God, this is my calling, and I'm going to do this for other people. It's like, this is it, you know? So no matter how many times, you know, like my Instagram gets like hacked or blocked, it's like, I'll do another one, and I'll go around, and I won't use that word, and I will do another thing, but I will get this message out. So right now I'm building community where I can actually share without being inhibited, and just be myself fully expressed in a private setting, in a private group.
Yes, I love that. And I've suggested that to people too, because I work with folks, I work with sacred sexuality coaches, I work with folks who, a big reason why we're doing this is to come out of the system and do what we know is right, teach on things that have helped us to not follow the crowd and be caught in this. Like, I'm back in the States right now, and I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, I can hear the thought forms. I can see the constriction and the contraction and the lack of creativity. Now, of course, the trees are falling, the leaves are falling off the trees, and this could be my own stuff coming up. But I am noticing that, and it just drives me back home to, like, we really do need to share our messages. I love your determination, and it's such inspiration for my people who are who some of us don't have to deal with that. Some of us do not have to deal with that, and you're so in tune with your purpose and making sure that this message gets shared, that you're willing to just keep I'll open a new one. Just keep opening a new one, and that you're
I'll wear clothes.
Yeah, I guess I'll wear clothes. Yeah, and figuring out a way where exactly, and figuring it out, because that's very, very wise. I've suggested, which I don't even know if it's a great idea, because I don't have to really worry about this as much with my message. But yeah, exactly, your frontward facing message, it doesn't have to be as deep anyway. Like, sometimes we can overwhelm people with, like, all the intricacies of the Tao mastery, and really people want to know, like, I need help, how can you help me? And then as they get in and they get to know, and you give them the education and hold the space, they get that deeper awareness. But I love how you're using these tools as that frontward facing, and then you can bring people into a space where you're not where your voice isn't stifled. And that's one of the strategies that I teach in my conscious creative business school. But you have an extra layer of things you have to deal with, and I'm just so happy and proud of you that you just kept it going, because that could bring a lot of people down and just get them quitting. So you didn't. You're still here. So is that go ahead.
So what really helped me, I feel like, in our call, was like you showing me how I can actually share my message that it gets received. Like, I feel like I was like too educational and like not getting the point, or like too much. And then that call, and you're like, okay, what are the problems? What are your clients going in for? And then I'm like, it's like a light bulb was like, oh my God, of course, like focus on the problem and how I can resolve it. And then my posts and my reels and my TikToks have been more niche oriented, and I've gotten new followers, new requests, new discovery calls, just off of, what you share with me. It's like, you got it, but like you do this and you twist it. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. So yeah, you just really have it down.
I love it, because I love what's interesting about the work that you do is actually you and one of my other clients really had no problem going viral. That wasn't the problem. Like, some people are like, there's no engagement, nobody likes what I do, but like, your message is so cool and you have so much energy and presence. And so going viral wasn't a problem for you, or having a lot of likes, but it was that, how do we go from likes, comments, or a great page to actually helping the people? How do I get them in my container so that I can really, where the magic really truly happens? And so it was really fun to work with you and a few of my other clients who, okay, yeah, if you're going to have no problem doing a dance, you're going to have no problem even doing a trend. These things are fun for some of us. I'm starting my real journey because I find it fun. And so it's such a testament of like, what you find fun is going to it's going to be fun. That's kind of obvious. But then there are some skills that once you say, okay, this can be fun too. Selling can actually be fun. Then you get that 5K month like you got, and it really sounds like you love your clients. And that's so special. Like, when you have the right message that calls in exactly who you're meant to work with, then your job gets that much more fun, because even if they're resistant to the coaching because it's hard, and they have these problems, because that's, we all have some kind of drama problem that we could use support around, but that you really love to bring them from that place of contraction and into that juicy pussy loving power that
Yes.
that is awakening the goddess. Oh, I
Yes.
love it. Well, thank you
And
so much for being here.
I just want to give you a compliment.
Oh, I love
I
that.
loved traveling with you. And you were so inspiring because when we're traveling, we're just on the road. And you always took time to go live, to go do a video with your ukulele. Like your creativity always was there. And like you always recorded, you sang. I always received your emails about, creativity and singing and this and just seeing you, like where we started and our dreams that we actually shared together and like what we wanted, and actually seeing the growth. Like you are the person that inspired me. Like I know you personally, and you're like, okay, how to launch your first program, and then okay, how to do 4 figures or 5 figures, now 6 figures. I'm like, how is she doing this? Like I have to join. I'm like, yes. And I trust you and like your energy, and you're just so incredible, powerful in your own field. And I just love you so much, and you inspire me. Like your face is everywhere in my notebook, and like you hold me accountable. Just virtually, you literally hold me accountable.
Oh, thank you for that feedback. I receive the compliment from the goddess. I really do. And I'm not trying to deflect this compliment, but what I want to say to that is this is the power of our voice, that for you and for everyone watching, like there are actually people in your audience that are like hovering over your buy button, that have read your description of your offer like 50 times, and they're just not letting themselves be known. Like you are also awakening the goddess within so many people right now. And those of you watching, whatever it is that you do in this world, you are actually already doing it. It's just that the outside hasn't given you that reflection yet. But keep going, interview someone in your audience, and they're going to give you that reflection. So it's like, it really works to know, to know that you said something funny of like putting a little doll of me on the altar.
Yes. Yes, please have that available.
I think that, oh my God,
I will have you on my altar.
I will put you on my altar as well. And that's what it is. Like, that's what it deeply is. It's like we're putting our work and our purpose on the altar, and just trusting that the folks that are meant to hear this message, they're going to hear it. And then each time we share it, they're that much closer to making the shift in their own life, which changes the world, but also they're that much closer to jumping in on our containers, which run our business. So we get to live our purpose and help people that maybe never tell us. So many people probably will never tell us how much our content has affected them. And maybe those people buy, or maybe they don't, but that's not really the point. So that's super, super spiritual and super, super cool. It's like you get to help so many people, more people than you'll ever know. And a few of them, and many, many of them, will opt in to work with you deeper. And so everybody wins in the game that we're playing.
And everybody receives what they're ready for as well, right? Like that's why we share different types of material, like freebies here, e-courses, and like you go slowly, right? And I feel like I've gotten the feedback that off of just reels, people are like, wow, you make me feel more confidence in my body and my expression. And I sometimes I'm like, oh wow, it's like I don't even realize it, that just being myself can inspire other people.
So the ultimate message today is be yourself, make a lot of money, dye your hair if you feel like it.
Red will activate you.
Oh, I love it. Activate that first chakra. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been such a lovely chat. I know that both of our audiences are going to benefit from this so much, and just being themselves, really sharing when times get tough, doing the inner work, and reaching out for support. If you want to start a business, I'm your girl. If you want to awaken the goddess within, become multi-orgasmic, Yulia Rose here is your girl, and we're out to change the world. I'm
Hell
so
yeah.
Is there anything last that you would tell someone who is thinking about joining the Conscious Creative Business School that you want to just give them some little pointers or advice?
Do it. Do it. Do it
Very
and
clear.
do it and do it and do it.
Do it well.
Like your consistency, like you are so consistent. Like if you get in her flow, like you will achieve it. And this is coming from something that I struggled at the beginning, and I struggled, and all her posts just kept like, you can do it. You can do it. Her emails. Yes. And like when I allowed myself to actually expand, when I took that decision, that choice of like, I'm ready to break free from my own limitless, like my own limiting beliefs. And I like actually started going to your lives. Like I started engaging. I started putting my post on your groups and getting feedback. Like I started feeling your energy. I started feeling your containers energy, and that started activating me. And the support that you receive in that Facebook group, it's like I'm being seen and I'm being supported. And I feel like that's what we need, like to be supported, to be part of a community, like you belong. Like we're in this community and we're all wanting to see each other thrive. And that's what I get in your program and in your Conscious Creator Facebook group. It's like that community, like everybody's rooting you, you know, like, and they even like liking your post and commenting. And I felt supported. I'm like, oh yeah. So I got excited because like your container is so exciting, you know, like your energy is so exciting. So I would tell them like, don't wait so long and just do it. Just do it. Like override your limiting, like that ego that's telling you like, no, you're not good enough. Like maybe next month. Like, no, like put your money in. I feel like when you put your money in, like that's an energetic exchange, and that's what you're gonna receive back. Like, and the investment literally comes back. Like once you show up, that's like my biggest lesson. Like once I showed up and I started showing up my offerings, like when you said like, whoa, I don't know what you offer. I looked at my Instagram like, oh, I'm not being seen. It's like when I start showing up, I get $5,000 a month. Oh my God, I just have to show up. Okay.
I know, it's like we overcomplicate it. I've been saying it, just show up, and we overcomplicate it. And I love that. I love that because you've always been clear. Just like we all have that goddess within. You've actually always been clear, and it's actually about clearing away the gunk to see that shiny diamond of a businesswoman, as well as a transformational facilitator that really is going, check her out, because this is gonna blow up, and those 5K months are gonna turn into 10K months. And I just can't wait to see all the beautiful people that you get to help as well, and all that you do in this world. Oh, thank you so much for being here, and we can say bye-bye to the people. Aloha, check you out next time.